Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. And here's another vintage lens. Although I discussed this lens before, I recently went to the park again because I was off the week of Christmas and New Year's 2023. And after the debacle with the Nikkor 18 to 300 millimeter, I said I got to go back to my roots, which is vintage lenses. And this is the TOKINA, the RMC TOKINA 35 to 70 millimeter constant f3.5 aperture. It's on a Nikon mount. Since this is a dumb lens, I use a dumb adapter. It's on the A6000 or Alpha 6000. This is a fine performer. Now it's interesting. We had a big rainstorm. We got 5 inches of rain. Then it cleared up and it got cold and there's some ice. And then it started to get cloudy again and it was going to warm up again. So what I did is I went to the park one day, and after I got disgusted with this, and I went to the park with this, and I took some pictures of ice with this. I said, well, let me take some pictures of ice with this. So there was mulberries there's ice, icicles, the reeds, the rocks, and it was cloudy bright. I wouldn't say exactly dark, heavy overcast, but it wasn't light overcast either. I was so satisfied with this lens because you could see in the viewfinder when you're focusing it, it snaps right into focus. I mean, there's no, is it really in focus or not BS? And I was just satisfied with the way the pictures came out. So this is going to be a brief commentary on this. I mean, the build quality is excellent. I mean, it's old school, all metal. I only paid like $35 for it. I don't know. But, you know, I often go to my favorite vintage camera used gear stores online. And, you know, I don't see this lens. You know, it's like, I don't get it. It's a fine lens. I mean, usually vintage lenses go for $100. I got this for like 35 or something, maybe 40 with shipping. And, it's a real find. I mean, if you could find one, rather than buying a Canon or a Nikon, get one of these. They're just as good. Except I think the Nikon and the Canon, they stopped on the f/22 perhaps. This has only full f-stops. There's no half-stops there. There's no depth of field scale, and there's no infrared mark. But you really don't need that, do you? And it seems, I noticed Chiron has white meters and blue feet. And I was wondering if TOKINA was making stuff for Chiron or vice versa. But it's a fine lens, in perfect condition, it's optically excellent, and let's just jump right into the pictures then. I bought this Nikkor lens, the 18 to 300 millimeter, and I could see how a lens like that could turn people off from photography. It would make you hate photography because it was so spotty in its performance. So it sort of disgusted me. I said, well, I should use a lens I like and take some pictures. So I went to this old RMC TOKINA 35 to 70 millimeter constant f3.5 aperture. And I went to the park, and it was after a big rainstorm, and then the temperatures dropped. There's some ice there. So I said, yeah, nothing like some ice. And of course, after having a long sunny spell for almost a month, now we're in this cloudy weather period. Although it was mild, and then it got cold enough to make ice, and then it got mild again. Like all this ice, it was gone the next day. So I went to the park exactly when there was ice. And of course, I used manual focusing with the magnifier on the screen, the eye-level EV viewfinder, and I was getting excellent results. You know, yeah, maybe I took a bunch of pictures and I got 10 bad ones, but all right, I made a mistake. But imagine if you had a AF lens and it was like doing the same thing, you'd be upset. And I used Canon lenses that work perfectly. Of course, you know, the Canon EOS lens, they go on a EOS Canon mount, and it's all native. Whereas I was using a Nikkor G on a Z camera, and I was using the FTZ adapter. So I don't know what to say about that. But this thing made me love photography again. The TOKINA 35 to 70 millimeter. It's an excellent lens. It's sharp. It's easy to focus. Uh, it performs admirably, exceptionally so. I mean, it's consistent. From 35 to 70, you could shoot it, well, wide open it's a little soft, but like at 5.6, 8, 11, 16, it's great. So it was a sort of overcast day. I set this A6000 at 1600. And, you know, for modern cameras, 1600 is nothing. They all have noise reduction. Usually I put it on low. And I figure, well, you know, it's, 1600 shouldn't be a problem with these cameras anymore. And they aren't. And this is a perfect example. Even in pixel peeping, they're nice and sharp. Really nice and sharp. And what it depends on the lens you put on it. And this is the thing, these old lenses all have aperture rings where you can adjust the aperture. And the modern lenses, they don't have an aperture ring. You need the camera to control the aperture. So you're locked into that. So just think if you had an older Nikon DSLR and you want to step up to a Z and you had a whole plethora of lenses, and some of them aren't going to work right. Not at all. But this thing, wow, this thing is a great lens. RMC TOKINA 35 to 70 millimeter. I know I said it before, but I got it for like 30 bucks. I bought some other lens, and I said, I was scrolling through to see what else I could buy. I said, look at that. This is the excellent condition, and it's only 30 bucks, so I bought it. And if it's a piece of crap, who cares for $30? But no, for $30, I got a really great lens. A really great lens. Not a mediocre lens or a sort of a crappy lens, but a great lens. And I was so pleased with these ice pictures, the way they came out. You know, I manually focused them. And they came out really good. When I was using the Nikkor 18 to 35 under sunny conditions, I was having tons of trouble getting this thing to autofocus correctly. And, you know, and autofocus isn't supposed to miss like more than 10% at a time. And this is the thing. Suppose like you're a serious photographer and you want to take pictures, or you're on some sort of paid photo shoot and you have a lens that isn't functioning correctly, and that's the way it is. When you read reviews about it, you know, everyone complains about the same thing. I said, wow, you know, or give me my vintage all manual lens, I'll take that. Oh, I love this picture. Look at this picture. Look at this ice. Unreal. This is beautiful. And I was shooting at f8 almost constantly. You know, here's a beat picture. Here's the 1:1 crop. Look at this ice detail. Amazing. So I'm shooting at f8. You know, the light was overcast and it wasn't varying in brightness much. And, you know, you didn't have to worry about the changing the aperture. And that was very helpful. And, you know, it was all, it wasn't low contrast, but it was all even contrast. So I like shooting pictures like that myself. Now, I took some pictures of the raging water, and you're going to, some videos, and you may want to adjust your volume down. I would recommend you start turning your volume down right now.